Hello Pisces, welcome to Gemini season. So let's see what comes out for you. Just start with here. Okay, I think actually this one that seems to be popping out of the deck here. Oh, Five of Swords, okay. So you may be battling something within yourself. Like you know something's bad for you and you know you shouldn't do it, and yet somehow emotionally or you just have that like faith that someone will change, or faith that it will be different this time around, or I don't know what it is. I don't know what the dialogue is for you specifically, but it's the dialogue itself that should be looked at, not what the dialogue is saying, but the fact that that's even happening. Because I do think that you are in some kind of situation that and you know that it's just going to be the same thing. Right? It's going to be the same thing with that person. Has that person really changed? Time will tell. Time will tell. We'll see. But for now, they're going to kind of need to show you with consistent action that it's changed. And you, Pisces, need to show yourself with consistent action that you've changed. If you fall back into the believing that this person that hurt me so bad or that screwed me over so bad is really going to reform, if you fall back into that pattern, then you probably most likely will fall and find yourself in Cancer season like, oh man, like why did I do that? Why did I think that? What on earth possessed me to have faith in that thing when I knew I shouldn't have, right? That's what this really is. It's when you know that something's not good for you, when you know that something's not healthy, and yet somehow we tend to just keep putting salt in that wound because for whatever reason it hurts like hell, but it also feels so good too at the same time, right? I don't know. What's that saying I always say? It hurts so good. It's probably what it is, yeah. See, and an Empress knows better. I think you're the Empress here. I think it's time for you to step into those shoes and fulfill that role within your own life. There are certain things that you want. There are certain goals that you want. And the last person that should be getting in your way is yourself. If you feel like you're not getting in your way, you still have some kind of gnats flying around you. Some kind of nuisance presences that seem to be just this, it's like this constant badgering. And it's really time, the Empress, I don't know how much patience she's going to have, to be honest. I genuinely don't know that the Empress is going to put up with nuisances for that long. Because nuisances, right, she's here surrounded in a garden, and what happens when there are nuisances in her garden, she takes care of it because she knows that if I'm not a gardener. I don't know, aphids or something. She's got to get those ladybugs in there to eat those aphids because she knows that if the aphids take over, then her whole garden and everything she's worked so hard for is just going to completely die off. And I think you're not even close to letting that happen, but there's still a Five of Swords there. So you're going to have to nip it in the bud. And you're going to have to be proud. Oh, so proud. Look at the coloring on these cards. How different, right? All the yellows and greens and oranges with the blues and the silvers. You've got a lot of reason to be proud of yourself. I think you've come a long way. You've learned a lot about yourself in this whole process. You have pushed and prodded, and you have just continued to fight your way up that mountain. You do have a lot to be grateful for, and you do have a lot to be proud of. When this circles back around, probably already has, Gemini season, and it's like Gemini and Virgo season, right? It's the Mercury stuff. Because Mercury is so tricky, and Mercury is going to be doing a retrograde in Cancer. So we're kind of making our way into that weird time when the astrological environment is just going to do a huge flush. So we're getting some foreshadowing going on. And the resurfacing or the reliving of this whole thing, again, it's just kind of the last straw for Pisces. And I think Pisces may actually need to put on a little bit of an angry face in order to deal with that a little bit. You may have to get yourself into a position where people won't like you, and you have to just accept, like, okay, well, do I really care if this type of person doesn't like me? No, like, you shouldn't care if this person doesn't like you, because they probably really don't like themselves that much, you know? And you got to stand up for yourself. You got to fight. You got to fight for what you want. You got to fight for what you believe. If you're dealing with kind of an in and out lover, right? Someone who's just kind of one foot in, one foot out. I had this talk with Scorpio, right? The doorway is for cowards. You're either in or you're out. And honestly, Pisces, you're probably like gonna be pushing people out, be like, get out, get out, get out. If you want in, you have to prove to me that you're worthy of being in. Not that I advocate playing games, but that's kind of the level of pride that Pisces is taking on right now, of like, look, you want to be with me, you got to climb up the mountain to be up there with me. Like, I'm not going to pull you up. I'm not going to let you take the little trolley cart thing. Like, you want to be up here, you got to be up here. So Pisces is getting tough. Pisces getting tough. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those little astrology memes being passed around on Instagram and Facebook. There's like a cute one. It's actually for Cancer, but it reminds me of Pisces too, of like when Pisces gets mad. It's like one of those little fluffy like teddy bear things with a knife in its hand. That's kind of how the image that I'm getting. Pisces getting tough. Yeah, communication is interesting. It's so forthright and so direct. Look, I still love this card no matter what, right? Page of Wands, optimistic, looking up for it. It's possible that Pisces might be laying some serious truth bombs right about now, dealing with that Five of Swords. An Empress, she's not above truth bombs. Like, she's going to say it like it is for sure. So she's just going to walk in, boom, here's the truth, here's the reality of it, here's my side of the story, here's my perspective. And then she's going to beeline it out there and just kind of let that person process. For some reason, I feel like there's an element of processing going on for you, Pisces, recognizing your own kind of behavior and your own sort of what you've contributed to the situation, right? You're responsible for co-creating a part of this too. So, but yet you've risen above it with all the lessons that you've made recently or that you've learned recently. So here you are walking in, doing a couple truth bombs, saying it like it is, and letting that person process and letting them figure it out. Maybe on some level there was like, hey man, you hurt me. Like, you hurt me last year, or you made it bad last time, or I wasn't happy, or I didn't feel like you were the one last time, or, you know, and you're saying it so sharply and so directly and bluntly. It's possible that this is like the first time that this person or these people have ever really heard Pisces speak up in this particular manner. It's like, wow, there's not going to be bending. And it's making them reflect. It's making them look inwards and be like, okay, am I really ready? Because Pisces is kind of drawing a line here. Am I ready to be on that side of the line with them for real or not? So I think it's good what you're doing, because when you get your answer, you'll know for real that that person really thought about it. You'll know for real that they're really in it with you. And it's not just something that's convenient for them. I definitely don't think Pisces is making anything convenient for anybody. Convenience is a fool's game at this point, at this juncture, I think. It's not convenient how you got to the level of strength that you got to. So you're not about to make it convenient for anybody else either. Because I know you're ready for a lot of new stuff. And I know you're ready for a whole new set or a whole new variety of problems and challenges and lessons. You know, like, you're not trying to do the whole same thing ever again. That cycle was too repetitive. It was too painful. It was too common. And I genuinely think that you are, I mean, I love all the yellow in these cards, the yellow and the orange, that is really coming through, because it's like this feeling of self-confidence, of empowerment, and you kind of taking on this more authoritative personality here. I think people are starting to like respect you in a way that they didn't respect you in the past, because you're demanding it now, right? You've got clout. You have the life experience to back you up. And you're ready for like a whole new kind of relationship, a whole new chapter in your life, a whole new set of ways of thinking. So the Fool is really beautiful for you guys, because I think you're just going to like lean into that. Another page coming out. Amazing. Page of Wands. Here's the, Page of Swords. I'm sorry. This is the card of communication. It's a great card for Gemini season, because I know that it's really, yeah, you got fourth house activity. I'm sorry, I was just kind of like looking at the stars really quick. Fourth house activity. You know, you are still very much inside, but you're exposing and communicating in really effective ways. And I think you do see this from a really high level perspective. You are sitting up at that very top of the mountain looking down. You have a lot of clarity about the situation. I'm wondering if Pisces hasn't grown so much that they're kind of looking on at the people or person with this Five of Swords and being like, okay, I used to be there, and they seem to maybe still be teeter-tottering with that game a little bit. I think you feel like they want to change. You feel like they really want to be in this sort of new chapter position with you. But again, this is all about waiting until they show you that they're ready. Their words mean absolutely nothing. They are going to try to talk to you. They are going to try to convince you, try to speak to you. But you are not a fool, in spite of this Fool card coming out. You are nobody's fool. So no matter what they're sitting here, no matter how they're trying to spin the story, right? Like you come in and you truth bomb someone and you're like, hey, you hurt me. I got hurt. I wasn't happy. This sucked for me, you know? And they're left to process and left with no other choice but to realize that they have some responsibility in the whole thing. And they're going to try to, like, again, spin it because they feel uncomfortable. And you're just going to sit there and watch them and watch that behavior. And that in and of itself is going to tell you everything you need to know. So pay attention to what they're doing, not what they're saying. It's Gemini season, guys. And as soon as Mercury comes into Cancer, which is like right there, it's going to be there tomorrow, like, you know, full on, ready to go, making its way into the Mercury retrograde shadow. So, you know, communication is going to be... It's going to be one thing on the outside, and it's going to be a totally different thing in the realm of energy. Okay? Definitely look at those pages in the comprehensive cards that we'll pull at the end of the reading there. I think there's a lot more to those stories. This yellow energy, this yellow color, it's all about the solar plexus. It's about the self-empowerment. You are, with or without this person or these people, you're headed in a really amazing direction. And I think this is a major turning point for you, because it's an opportunity for you to prove to yourself how far you've come, how much you've learned, and all of that. So the sun just kind of puts this really nice warmth on everything. You know, it's June. Things are starting to really blossom. Things are starting to come up out of the soil. We're starting to see the fruits of our labor. As an Empress, it's a very important time. It's an important time for you to see that all the seeds that you planted a few months ago in here and in here as well are starting to sprout. It's only a matter of time before those things bear fruit. You are absolutely on the right track, and you're doing the things that you're really needing to be doing. So hopefully you're feeling really good with everything. Annoyed at this nuisance, annoyed, but this is the only kind of irritable energy that I'm getting. You know, it really is. Just annoyed that you have to deal with it, annoyed that you have to, like, say the things that you've had to say. But also I think you feel good because finally you can get it off your chest. 10 of Coins reversed. You seem to be, this card has been taking on a new meaning for me when it's reversed lately. I feel as though, even though it's a card of money, and you got Chiron in the house of money, so there might be some things going on there. Okay, fine. But on a grander scale, like my readings always are, I feel like it's more about, it's kind of similar to a devil reversed, releasing attachments. Here I see people being connected via family, bloodline, community. There's obligation here. There's a sense of authority within the community here. But this is like the mark of someone who really just stops caring what people think. This is the mark of someone who's like, okay, well, if my family doesn't agree with me, that's okay. If my friends don't agree with me, that's also okay. If my company has a problem with it, that's okay. And knowing that you're the Empress and you have the power of the Fool and you feel good like the Sun and the Nine of Cups, there's nothing threatening about this whatsoever. If you had to incur some kind of loss, financial, okay, fine, financial or otherwise, good. Because I think the loss is indicative of the blockage of energy that just needed to get unblocked. When a Pisces, with Neptune going through your sign, and Black Moon Lilith making her way through there for the rest of the year, when a Pisces feels unblocked, you then just entirely become plugged into the Christ consciousness, right? Neptune or out of the matrix into the oneness. I don't know. You're like unplugging on one thing and plugging into another, is what I think. And then you become more fearless. Virgo's reading is relevant because it's opposite of you. It's all about fearlessness. I think that's where you guys are meeting in the middle here, right? Your opposite poles coming together, meeting in the middle with fearlessness. It's beautiful, beautiful thing. Things coming back around. Things coming full circle. I think it did, and I think you knew it would. And I think you knew that you left a pretty substantial impact in certain people's lives. Probably not even just one person. I think you're looking back now and you're like, wow, I really was the best thing that ever happened to them, or something like that. I really was the best thing that ever happened to them, or that really was the best relationship that they've ever had, And it's like they made their bed and now it's time for them to lay in it. And it's time for them to lay in the bed of their truths. Because what happened back then, right, they weren't mindful. And maybe you also weren't mindful. Everyone was just being so energetically irresponsible and just projections all over the place and da-da-da-da-da. But now that you're not in that space anymore, you can be a lot more energetically responsible. And they're kind of being forced to, because you're just like putting it all out there. And justice, right? Justice, all about whatever you put out coming back to you. And it's all coming back to you. And all those times when you were like, man, I wish that I said this, or I wish that I had done that. Well, here's the open door. Go for it. The Fool, right? You have nothing to lose. And even if you do lose something, you're backed by the Sun energy, so it doesn't even matter. The abundance of the Sun and the Empress is just unreal. You don't need the worldly approval because you have the universal approval. You have the actual life force behind you. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I was going to pull more, but I'm going to switch the decks now. We're at that point where we put the camera down now. Okay. There we go. Let's grab the other deck. Power. Well, that's not surprising. 4 of coins. I mean, you seem to be really firm in your ground. Don't bend. Don't set the line and then a week later be like, oh, never mind. No. this really is a time for you to assert your power and for you to really say the things that you've been wanting to say. Here we have the Hermit energy coming through, which is about wisdom. And it's through the life experiences that you've gone through that you have that wisdom. Don't turn your back on it. Okay, this is also ruled by the sun here as well. Don't turn your back on the wisdom that you've accrued over the years. Now's the time for you to put this to bed once and for all and to like say, shoo, to like seriously, like shoo, like get out of here. You have no power in this situation at all. And I'm not trying to make it a power struggle. I'm not trying to make it a fight. But I really do think it's time for some people to really step up and prove themselves the way you have stepped up and proven yourself and grown and evolved. And, nothing is permanent, as the Buddhists say, right? That's like the main tenet. The world is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. So this is a time when the things that are not meant to stay, leave. And sometimes you need to give them a nudge for your own sake. Pluto transformation. Well, yeah, obviously it's time of transformation. Obviously it's a time where this is just like cleansing on a whole different level. It's freedom and liberation on a whole different level. Black Moon Lilith, with all of her malefic effects, she does speak to wholeness, being so whole. She manifested as a woman, but she's a yin and yang in and of herself. And soul fragments, balance will be restored. That came out for, I think, Aquarius as well, or Sagittarius or something. And so like when someone is whole, the way an empress is whole, as complemented with the justice and the star all trining, and the sun all trining here, there are no fragments. In fact, I think you are making your way swiftly from a fragmented self into a very whole self. That's the combination of these together is especially potent in terms of wholeness. So if you don't quite feel like you're there yet, don't worry, because you're getting there real quick. One little Five of Swords situation at a time. One little nuisance at a time. Simplify your life, as we see with the Hermit. Simplify your life. Keep it as uncomplicated as possible. If someone comes in and complicates things, or if someone makes you feel like you want to complicate things, then that needs to go. Okay, let's look at the Five of Swords now. So these are the cards that we're going to cover in the comprehensive reading. The link will be down below. We will talk for another 20 to 25 minutes. Okay, so just to give you a little preview of what we're going to talk about. Okay, you might be dealing with an earth sign. Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus, someone that has been especially guarded lately or always. Interesting. I'm going to pull one more. I feel like they actually might fight. Some of you may have someone that might actually fight. Right? Ooh, see, what did I just say? Simplify. Put down your burden, guys. I love when we get the cards clarifying themselves. One more for the Empress. I think by standing your ground, you've earned respect. And that's really an amazing thing. Because that may have been what you always wanted in the beginning. Right? When an Empress steps into her own, she attracts a lot of things. You might be pulling in more than you bargained for. You know what? Okay, yeah, let's pull. They did come out. Yeah, okay, another page. Okay, yeah, fine. That's good. That's fine. We'll do that. Let's look at the Fool now. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I'm like thrilled for you guys. It's nice to have Chiron out of your sign, yeah? And see, when Black Moon Lilith comes into Pisces, people have a tendency to get really, they can get kind of delusional or really believe in their own fantasies. But because of the experience that you've had with Neptune already going through your sign, I think you're kind of over that. You seem to be pretty grounded, which is great. That's what you kind of need. You seem to be grounded. And the grounded energy, okay. The grounded energy is what makes you powerful. And yeah, I think, sorry, I lost my train of thought there. I was Black Moon Lilith, like you're not about to live in fantasy world anymore. Right? You're not about to live in fantasy world anymore. And I think for the first time, people are really feeling that from you. You don't have your rose-colored glasses on. You see them for exactly what they are. Some people really like to be seen. Oh, can we just... Oh, I love this. You may have a King of Coins, King of Cups, Taurus, Scorpio kind of personality in your midst, which is amazing. Oh, Leo. Okay, so the people that don't make the reading all the way to this part of the reading aren't going to probably understand the title, but I feel like I'm going to call this one like drop the mic. Like Pisces here, oh, Pluto, death, perfect. Pluto, or excuse me, Pisces is like dropping the mic here. You walk in, you say your truth, and you leave. And it's in that period of silence. The Piscean cuts someone off, not in a mean way, but like, you know, kind of leaving the ball in their court and you not making a move until they make a move thing. It's really shifting the energy in a way that has never been shifted before. I think this is an especially relevant time for like the upcoming like future for you. So this is really exciting. So many beautiful cards to talk about. So we're going to have a great time in the comprehensive if you want to join us there. Thank you guys so much. Have an amazing, amazing month. Good luck to you. And I'll see you for Cancer season. Take care. Bye-bye.